You're listening to Guitar Talk with Will Musig. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Guitar Talk. Tonight we have Rob Walker from the Australian Music Association. Welcome, Rob.
Thanks, Will.
Now, for those of you who don't know who Rob is the man behind all of the organising of the Melbourne Guitar Show and many other shows as well, correct?
Oh, over a number of years.
Over the number of years, yeah. So, now, before we go anywhere towards the guitar show, I want to go back. Let's go back in time.
How far have we got to go back?
No, you're a bass player, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, and you're exclusively playing bass.
That's what people pay me to do.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right. So when did you start?
Well, I was one of those typical teenage guitar players that wasn't as good as one of his mates who wanted to play lead guitar, and he said, "You'd be a good bass player."
And you got dumped on the bass.
And I thought, well, yeah, it's only got 4 strings, so I'll give it a twirl. But I took an immediate liking to it, and learned some blues licks, compliments of my mate, and used to rehearse at the Langwarrin Hall.
Yeah,
3 of us, and so that's how my love affair with the bass started.
So that was when you were a teenager?
No, well, probably just around about school leaving time.
Okay.
Yeah, so probably still officially teenager.
Yeah.
Not for long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you guys played as a band?
Yeah, we did a couple of gigs in the end down at the Vines in Frankston. I'm a Frankston boy. And did a few gigs, but we weren't really that good. And,
so we went, so honest about it.
We went back to the well, in those days, I guess it was the really late 70s. So some of the cover bands were pretty good, and you had to be. Well, ironically, one of the bands that we couldn't kick off was a band called Tapestry, I think, and they were a local band, and they were pretty good. They used to do a residency at the Vines, I remember, but we weren't quite at that level. So we kept practicing, and you move on, I guess.
Yeah.
Meet other musicians and keep honing your craft from there.
Yeah. And then as time progressed, you ended up playing with some big bands as well.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I wouldn't say. I played with some really good bands.
Crackerjack was pretty.
I played with some really good bands. I was really lucky. Being in Frankston way, there weren't too many bass players around in those days, really, locally. I remember, and some guys from Mount Eliza heard that I played bass, and I hooked up with someone, and that band was called Spiff Rouch, which was some boys from Peninsula Grammar who ended up really being Australian Crawl, I guess.
Oh, crikey.
So Spiff Rouch used to play. We played for a couple of years on the, and graduated into the city doing lots of supports.
Yeah.
And that sort of did its time, and then re-emerged a year or so later as Australian Crawl. So we all know the history of
and then you got
the part that they played in Australian music history.
Absolutely.
So I was really lucky to have played with those guys and known those guys. Still a big fan of James Rain's music.
Yeah, I love his stuff.
He's a fantastic writer, and lost a couple of those mates, Guy and Brad, over the journey. But that was my first serious band, I guess.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad one to start with.
Yeah.
And we were pretty raw, but they were great. It had something special, those guys. So I was really happy to play with them, and then started writing a bit, and we had a band called The Movies, which used to do the pub circuit, and I used to write a lot of their songs. and never really made my living at it.
Yep.
But I ended up having a go at being a musician in the 80s, and moved to Melbourne.
That's when it was all kind of happening anyway.
Moved to Melbourne, and I joined a band called the Reds at the time, and then that turned out to be a band called Try Breathing, and we played for a year or two again on the Melbourne,
Melbourne
again
scene.
lots of supports, and just didn't quite get there.
Yep.
But there's some good players in that band too, and that it just evolves. I mean, I played with. I made my living in a cover band for a while called Thunderbirds Are Go in the 80s,
Yep.
which was.
Is that early 80s or late 80s?
It was about 85, I
Okay.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, 85, 86.
Yeah.
And then I got asked to join the Mannequins, who were a band from Perth who had a CBS deal and an album, and they were just, they're a fantastic band, really good players.
Yeah.
Bradley Clark, who was actually responsible for Cole Clark guitars,
Okay.
was the driving creative force in that band.
Yep.
And Bradley Clark and his mate started Cole Clark Guitars.
Yeah.
And he went on to work with Maton, he worked with Maton first, I think,
and then he started Cole Clark. Yeah. I actually saw one of the new Cole Clark bass guitars.
Yeah. Not bad. They got some good range.
Talk about a bass and a half. That is amazing.
Yeah, I saw him at NAMM.
Yeah.
And then I saw someone mention it. I think it was on the wire the other day. I saw someone saying what a nice balanced guitar it is.
Yeah.
I haven't played one like in a serious sense.
Yeah. Because Miles actually brought one out to GH, and he got Rob Little to play it.
Mm.
And I was walking through, and as I was walking through, Rob's gone, Will, come have a look at this. And the first thing I did was when I saw it, I went, wow, that looks beautiful, the timber and the shape and everything.
Beautifully made.
And then the way it sits on you, like if you're sitting down with it, it just sits in the right spot, and you can let it go and it just stays there. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's some fine guitars being made in Australia of all sorts.
Yeah.
By so many good makers.
We've got a lot of great makers.
Yeah, certainly have.
Yeah.
And so then through the 90s, I guess I played with a few mates in a band called the Deep End, which was a blues band, a little bar band with Michael Brighton, Richard Hawser, Billy O'Mara on drums. And
Bill O'Mara.
Bill O'Mara from Alpha.
And Uncle Bill.
Uncle Bill. That's it. Uncle Bill.
We had a great little bluesy band while the kids were young.
Yeah.
And then I joined Crackerjack in '99 and did about 4 albums with them and a lot of touring and sort of country scene.
Yep.
With Harry Nanos, and that was a good band too. Really liked that. So, and then I went to America for a few years to work, and
now that's where you did a lot of stuff, sort of bringing Australia and America together with the music scene a bit.
Well, yeah. Out of the blue, I got an offer from the new CEO of NAMM to come over and work for him, and I sort of just opened my email one day because I knew Joe Lamond from the times that he came out to Australia for us for the AMAC and was NAMM's representative. So I'd met him and I opened an email one morning in my home office, and it was him saying, "Don't suppose we could get you over the pond and come and work for us?"
Wow.
So, what do you know?
And what'd you do over there?
Well, I was the director of market development.
Okay.
Which is a sort of position which, just as the name suggests, tries to develop the market with programs and PR and promotion and the web.
It's
and
a big gig.
And that was about 2002, I think. So the web was starting to really kick in.
Yeah.
Had been in America for a while, and we established websites for youth, and we had the Weekend Warriors program, and
so that's where the Weekend Warriors came from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're the man who brought it across over the pond.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Well, I was at the time working in this job as with the Australian Music Association, and my successor developed it in Australia after I got Joe and brought him out here.
Yeah.
And it kicked on from there.
Yeah.
And we had partnerships with Sesame Street and promoting music for kids, and a Music Edge website we established for teens, and followed the Warp Tour and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just promoting music making, which is basically what I've done for the last 25 years is try and promote music. And luckily I've been able to, keep my hand in playing, and playing with some great people along the way, and made some great friends. And, I'm very thankful to have had so much time playing live, but also, organising lots of shows and events which employed musicians too.
Yeah.
When I came up to Melbourne in the 80s, to be a musician, I got a part-time job at a council organising community music stuff. And, I saw an ad in the paper for or somebody I knew's mother saw the ad, and said, "Oh, you might be able to do this." And it was the entertainment or music coordinator for the St Kilda Festival in '86, I think.
Yep.
I thought, I could do that. So I just put an application in and got the gig. So for 11 years after that, every summer I'd do the St Kilda Festival music program.
Yeah.
And 86 was the first year that the state government got involved as a tourism thing and put some funding into the council. And we put a stage on the beach, and of course now it's the iconic,
the big show,
the St Kilda Festival main stage.
Yeah.
But it certainly was a bit wilder in those days. I mean, these days there's no alcohol, there's no this, there's no that.
Yeah.
But
and there would have been a lot of other things flying around as well.
For a lot of years, for many years, I had that as a summer job.
Yeah.
And it's really great to see it still going so well.
Yep. Yep.
So, I've sort of fitted playing music around making a living in music as well. So it's been a good run.
Yep. 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 And with your has it been doing what you're doing with the organising of music and stuff? Has it had its perks with your playing?
No, not really.
Like, you haven't been able to sit down with anybody that is like a big time, well-known player and just go, "Can we jam?"
Oh, maybe. I can't really recall, to tell you the truth. I don't think so. I mean, I think when you're in a role like an organizer of events or shows or stuff, I don't expect the musicians that don't know me to know, my focus is on that event rather than worrying about whether I get to play with people or not.
Yeah.
I mean, as I said before, I've been fortunate to play with some great musicians.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I've really enjoyed employing other musicians.
Yeah.
And creating opportunities for other people at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one big perk, I think, being a part of the industry. I really think there's so many great people involved.
Yeah.
And all got the same sort of, they've all got the same sort of passion for music, and it's a brotherhood, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And so that's been a really enjoyable thing. But I mean, when you're organising shows, I'm focused on organising the show and promoting the show, not telling anybody what else I do. Yeah.
So, for example, I mean, when you're talking about organising a show, what's one of the first things that you sort of sit there and what's one of the first thoughts that goes through your head? So it's like, say we're having a discussion about a new show, and you go, right, first things first, we need to organize. What's your first step?
Well, what are we doing?
Okay.
What is the show? I guess is the first thing. What are we doing? I mean, if we're going to use, back in the 90s, we were flying by the seat of our pants, organising big trade shows at Darling Harbour in Sydney.
Yep.
I guess, I've always done things, a lot of the time I do things in teams and in groups, and the AMA's always had a board of experienced wholesalers and or retailers and retailers. And so they basically say, well, we need a trade show.
Yep.
And back in the probably around about 1990, the AMA shows, they opened to the public.
Yep.
So they have their trade days, and then they have their weekends.
I remember that.
So because I'd come from a live music sort of event background, a lot of those guys sort of taught me what a trade show had to be and what it needed to be. And so there's a lot of planning in that sense. There's a lot of planning that goes on at a board level as a group.
Yep.
And then they say, well, this is the broad plan. This is what the industry needs. We need to achieve this, put a plan together.
Yep.
So I think, with any show, venues is the key.
Yeah.
It's going to have a venue that's going to be able to provide you with the facilities and the spaces and the location that you need.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the guitar shows back in the early 90s, I was involved in the Melbourne Music Festival with the Victorian Rock Foundation, which was a sort of a quasi-government funded organisation.
Yep.
And we were charged with organising the Melbourne Music Festival, which we did for about 5 years before it ran its time. But I'd heard of the Dallas Guitar Show. I'm not sure if I'm answering you. It's a long answer to it.
No, it's good.
I'd heard about the Dallas Guitar Show.
Yep.
Which is still going today.
Yep.
And I thought, well, Melbourne Guitar Show, but why don't we add it? Why don't we do, we've done music expos with everybody.
Yeah.
And we promoted it, and they were quite successful. And I thought, well, let's focus in on the guitar. And so we did a little show at the Prahran Town Hall in 93, I think, and then a couple more at the Melbourne Town Hall. But it was really just an idea. I thought guitar show sounds like this fits in with a Melbourne Music Festival, in contemporary music. It focuses in on guitars and basses and rock and roll, and basically it's what I was.
Yep.
So, but these days, I suppose, that was and they went quite well, the guitar show concept well. When I went to Allen's in the mid-2000s, I introduced them again as just purely a sales event.
Yep.
Whereas prior to, they weren't. And now the last few years, this is the fourth Melbourne Guitar Show in this decade. It's a mixture of things, but it's sales and it's live, and it's education, and it's so. Each year, I think I know nowadays. I know what the format is, and it works, and people like it. So I think now, if I sat down and said, right, this one finishes in a couple of weeks, I'll start thinking about what we need for the next year.
Yeah.
In regards to
what worked and what worked,
needs
to be
what
modified.
Yeah. But sometimes, ideas come out of the blue. But I think some people approach events differently. But I always look at finances.
Absolutely.
Venue.
Yep.
Affordability, whether we can do it. The music products industry has never been an overly wealthy industry. Yep. Like if you see what exhibitors pay for a stand at the air show,
it's a very, very different amount of money.
It's so I try and tailor it so that it's all, it's pretty fair and reasonable. We all get the AMAs are not-for-profit organisation to serve the industry and to serve the members.
Yep.
And so we try and tailor it so that it's affordable for everybody. And, you know, so it's more about it when you say, we used to fly by the seat of our pants, really, when I think about it. Back in, I'd never organised anything when I took on, say, the St Kilda Festival.
Yeah.
I mean, I just went in and found out how to
You
find people.
Yeah.
Council said, we want some multicultural, we want some this, we want some rock and roll, we want some this and that, we want kids' activities, and we want to base it around music. So I just went to work researching and finding out
who's there and what's there.
Probably made quite a few mistakes, but had some good breaks. You know, like it's a matter of having the ideas along the way. I mean, I remember the very first festival I did, I managed to talk Joe Camilleri and the Black Sorrows into playing on Ackland Street flat stage.
Wow.
And you know, he just did it because he was a St Kilda resident.
Yep.
And wanted to be a part of it. And so ideas like that happen, little things happen in an event, which gives you the feeling that, oh, this could be much bigger and we could do this much better.
And in a way, when that sort of stuff happens, it just goes to show how much camaraderie we have within our industry. You know, like the amount of times when you hear that someone's down and out, like they might have health issues or something, and all of the mates just turn around and say, we're putting on an event, you know, and we're doing a fundraiser, and everybody just rocks up, and then all of a sudden you find out this band's headlining, and it's like a big major band that's actually headlining, and it's like people will be sitting there going, well, how much are they going to charge? And then you find out they're not charging. You know, they're just coming down to do the thing, and the money's going towards you know, the fundraising. You know, so it goes to show you.
Oh, I think that's testament to the sort of community
we have.
The music industry is.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So now, how long were you at Allen's?
7 years, I guess. When I got back from America, I was lucky enough to get offered a job with Allen's in the marketing department.
Yeah.
And so it was another new thing.
Yeah, because many moons ago I was with Brash's.
And who wasn't?
When I know when Brash's was in Elizabeth Street and Allen's was around the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back in those days.
And
Caldwell's.
So many of the industries, the modern industries, people came out of the Brash's nursery.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So many.
Yeah.
Wholesalers, retailers.
Yeah.
All sort of learned their skills in the Brash business.
Yeah. Actually, I'll never forget, there was a day when I was relieving in the morning at Elizabeth Street in Brash's, and then I had to go around the corner to Allen's in the afternoon. And this guy was looking at a Les Paul, and they had both guitars, gold tops, in both stores. And here I was in Elizabeth Street talking to him, and then I've see you later, guys. I'm out of here, and I've gone right, and I'm in Allen's, and the guy comes in Allen's and looks at me and he goes, "Were you?" Because he thought that the shops were two separate shops, you know. He goes, "Were you?" And I go, "Oh, no, it's my brother, man." He bought it.
And you've been selling.
That was funny. That was so funny.
You've been selling ever since, Will.
I told him afterwards that was me anyway. It was just, and he cracked up laughing. He just said that was so funny. So yeah. So doing the AMA, the Australian Music Association, what's the average? I mean, aside from preparing for the Melbourne Guitar Show, which we're going to go into a lot of. By the way, we're going to have a couple of tickets giveaways as well, at sometime tonight as well. So make sure your phones are handy so you can call in. So, but what we'll do is we'll take a commercial, and when we come back, we're going to find out about what Rob does on an average week.
Oh, Escape Music is having a sale. Not some freaking 50% off a plectrum kind of sale. We're talking a big mid-year sale on select instruments, guitars, there's amps, bada-boom, there's drums, bada-bing, there's keyboards, PA and boutique effects pedals. Hundreds of items up to 60% off recommended retail price. There's Gibson, Yamaha, Fender, Roland, Epiphone, Martin, Taylor, Wagner, Magnatone, and more. Hey, how much of this merchandise do you think we got? Most items are one only, so be quicker than a New York rat up a drain pipe. Hey, click on the banner.
Yeah. So now we're just looking at some of the comments. Joey Amenta, yes. Rob was telling us how he saw you on the weekend, and he's still recovering. Do you know that? He was saying, "Oh man, I don't know." No, I'm joking. Yeah. Hi Joey. Hi Rory. How you doing? Hi Peter Gregory, and everyone and Serge. There's your commercial again, mate. That's an awesome thing. So yeah. Now back onto the topic of what we were saying. Mm-hmm. What's your average week? I mean, doing what you're doing with the AMA.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of organising. So most of your time's on the phone.
Most of my work these days tends to be on a computer.
Email.
I mean, certainly I try and talk to people as well, but
yeah,
a lot of it's email and computer work, really, and detail.
Yeah.
But look, it's the shows we do to promote music making, so our members benefit.
Yep.
And improves business and so forth. We also represent the industry. Like, for example, last week I was in Parliament House in front of a parliamentary joint committee investigating strengthening the ivory laws. So they'd asked our industry to give them some comments on, the use of ivory in our industry.
Pianos and stuff like that.
Piano keys, bagpipes and violin bows and stuff like that. So, yes, I wrote a submission for that, and me and a couple of colleagues went into Parliament House and answered questions at the inquiry and to try and help frame that legislation. So we've been involved in the Rosewood issue with the signing. Yeah,
because that Rosewood thing's a big one, isn't it?
Of course, one of our major things, we have our own media. We have AustralianMusician.com.au, which we use to promote musical instruments and our members' products. And we run a few social media channels that does that as well. So, and then another week I've got a board meeting and I'm writing agendas and reports and financial statements for the association.
So you've been a muso. So when you're a promoter, you're a muso, you're a roadie, you're an accountant, a lawyer.
Well, not quite an accountant, but I did some stuff in the early days at school. But yeah, look, I guess these skills just develop because you had to do them.
Yeah.
And someone has to run the meeting and distribute the papers and keep the books in order and stuff. So, so a week can be pretty varied. We can be doing a film interview. We've been doing some interviews. Like last year, we did a series of history interviews for NAM for their oral history program with all of our stalwarts of the industry. The people, because the AMA had its 40th anniversary last year. So we did this project to record the history of our industry.
Wow.
So we did that.
Yep.
And in June 21 this year, we started Make Music Day, which is joining the world celebration of music on June 21.
Yep.
Because there's about 800 cities around the world have that June 21 as a Make Music Day. So we, with NAM, and partnered with NAM and the NAM Foundation, and we had our first go at Make Music Day just gone.
Yep.
Which is basically a do-it-yourself festival.
Yeah,
it's open to anybody to come and make an event themselves and get it in our program, and then we promote it. You know. And
so this year was the first one.
Yeah, this was the first one.
Yeah. How did it turn out?
Well, pretty good, really.
Yeah.
Given what we could throw at it, which wasn't a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
But we had about 80 locations, put on 100 different activities, from community halls to the Sydney Symphony Orchestra
Yep.
to, you know, lots of stuff in the street, in parks. And really, it's all based on the Fête de la Musique concept in France, which started in the 80s.
I saw that. I was actually over in France.
And it's amazing, isn't it?
It is.
Well, that's what we, you know, I know it's the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere, but, you know, I was really keen to bring it here. We brought the organizer of the New York event out here last year to speak to numbers of people. We got support from the New South Wales government.
Yep.
The Live Music Office and APRA and City of Melbourne, Community Music Victoria got involved. So we had anything from a whole lot of events happening in Belgrave to something happening in Armidale, in Gladstone, all over the country. There were little bits and pieces. So, as you know, Fête de la Musique and New York has, like Manhattan has 1,500 separate events.
Wow.
On that day.
Yeah.
Of people coming out on street corners, into Central Park, into neighbourhoods, people playing on their front veranda, organising their own gigs.
Yeah.
And you register your event and you just build up this big program of activities.
Yeah.
So, and you know what it's like in France. It's like a public holiday.
It is.
And there's people everywhere playing live music in the street.
Well, I was spinning out because I was walking down one of the main drags in Avignon.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were walking through, it was like the main street. And as you were walking through this street, you would hear music. And then as that band finished, like it was like they had this sound area. And as they finished, you'd start walking into the next band that was on a stage.
Yeah.
And it was like it was balanced. It was like that it was out, but it was starting. You know, it was amazing.
I just think Australia sort of lacks that celebratory type of day. There's lots of awards events and there's all that sort of thing, but there's not something that celebrates music making just for its own sake.
Yeah.
Where anyone from a professional right down to the amateur in the community can get involved in something that's much bigger than them, and that is joining the whole world, because China's on board now, so you can imagine what the numbers will get to there. So there's hundreds of thousands of people around the world making music on that day.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of, if we can get a foot down, and you know, you can imagine in 10 years' time, I mean, a city like Melbourne we should have events going all over the place.
Yeah. But even when you look at what's happening in Europe with being a musician and what's happening in Australia, here when you say I'm a musician, people going, yeah, what else do you do? how do you support yourself? You know? Whereas
question.
Whereas if you say I'm a musician in Europe, they turn around and say, hey, you know, you're a musician, and go, oh wow, you're a musician, and it's like, wow, and they look up to you. Whereas here, it's like, oh, you're a muso, you know. So
they're not
to a certain degree.
They're not our friends.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
So
you know, when you say, well, you know, what happens in a typical week? I mean, it's probably easy to say what happens in a typical month or 2 or 3, but But look, there's all sorts of things that's about this job, which is, you know, very rewarding, and you know, you feel as though you're being of service, and you know, everybody, you know, the industry's full of passionate people that deserve support, I think.
Yeah.
And I sort of like being involved in that.
Yeah.
When you said, you know, I just, you know, I think that we know how hard it is to be a musician.
Yeah.
And therefore it's not easy to be a retailer either.
Exactly. So true. And a lot of the retailers are struggling at the moment. So,
you know, but you walk into a store and they're all musicians, then they're all passionate people about
Exactly.
what they're doing. And that's another great thing about what we do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So do you want to give a couple of tickets away?
Sure.
For the guitar show, and then we'll start talking about the guitar show.
Be happy to.
So call now to win a double ticket, 2 tickets, that is, for the Melbourne Guitar Show, and call on 0412 376 848. That's 0412 376 848. So the first caller in will get a double ticket for the Melbourne Guitar Show. So, and the guitar show is amazing. Like, if you look at the the program, some of these guys that are going to be performing,
it's a lot of fun.
So,
yeah.
I mean, it's huge. It's huge. So we've got Adam Miller, the Adam Miller Band, Dave Leslie from the Baby Animals, Albert Lee. I remember watching Albert Lee on the VHS. What was it? The Hot Licks? Was it Hot Licks?
Yeah. The videos.
The videos.
Yeah.
And then Nat Allison with the band, Racket, Scott Darlow, Nick Charles. Man, it's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's I think just read what you just read.
Yeah.
It just,
and I haven't
talent.
I've just touched
the talent that's in our town on the guitar, bass.
Yeah.
Is fantastic, and again, a great community. I think that the Guitar Show has developed a little bit of a community about it. I think people get together, all the musos get together at the Guitar Show to celebrate their community, which is really pleasing for me to see.
Yeah.
And running into old friends and going and seeing great players like this.
Yeah.
And I know that it's a bit, I've only got a certain amount of spots on this program. So, it's hard who you leave out and who you ask and who's it. Well, then again, it's a bit like herding cats too, because, they've got to be available and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But I do think the musicians really like to be involved in the program.
They want to be there.
Yeah. So that makes my job pretty easy.
Yeah.
And I think what we try to do with this show is to, it's a sales event. We're looking to grow our business, get more people interested in the guitar.
Yeah.
Promote the good things about it. But at the same time, we've all of these trade shows I've really ever done in the last 20 years have always featured live music because that's what we're there for.
Yeah.
And, I've been able to, feature so many great artists over those years to draw the people to see the product and what have you. So, I try because I just think the guitar is such and I suppose it's like many, many instruments, but I just find the guitar is just so interpretive depending on whose hands it's
playing.
in.
Yeah.
And so, we try and provide some rock and roll.
Yep.
We try to provide, some guitar, some loud guitar. We do lots of acoustic stuff. We do different styles, different genres, and try our best to mix it up.
Yep.
And
you've got 3 stages, 4 stages.
Well, yeah.
Yep. And
well,
you can also
5.
meet, and there's also you can meet the players as well.
Yeah, we got 5 rooms. Yeah, the musician sessions. We tried that last year for the first time. Where Peter Hodgson from I Heart Guitar interviews and plays with, and the likes of. Well, this year it's Phil Manning, legend again, Dave Leslie, legend again, Brett Garsed.
Oh, Brett's awesome. Yeah,
we got the art of the bass with Mitch Cairns and Craig Newman and Rod Bustos. All just monster players.
I know.
And what else we got? That's right. We're featuring the fingerstyle playing a bit this year.
Oh yeah, with Albert Lee.
No, the new acoustic sort of fingerstyle stuff, the tapping acoustic style.
Oh, that sort of thing. Yeah.
So we've got Thomas Lieb from Austria.
Now he does a lot of looping with that, doesn't he?
Yeah. And Fisher.
Yeah.
Mark Fisher.
Yep.
And who else? You tell me.
You wrote it.
I know. But you expect me to remember everything right off the top of my head, Sorry, Van Larkins, who's also playing with Nick Charles in the big acoustic jam. But the likes of Daniel Champagne, he's a big exponent of that style of guitar.
Yeah.
So that's a style that's really emerged over
That's taking
recent
off.
years.
Yeah.
and we're going to feature it at the Melbourne International Guitar Night, which we're doing monthly from August
Okay.
to promote guitar playing in Melbourne.
Yep.
You can see us. There's a stand on that at the show. So, so look, just those meet the player sessions they're really good sessions because they're interactive. People can ask questions, and we've also got a workshop room which showcases mainly the products.
Yep.
But showcased by some great players too.
Yep.
And then the other three live stages, as you can see
There's
them all.
lots. Yeah.
There's lots there. We got
So you got the Aeon Whammy Bar, which is that's like the biggest stage.
that's the sort of it's the louder stage.
The loudest stage.
Drums and bass are loud. Like the down a level is the Aeon mezzanine stage, which is no drums and bass.
Yep.
But maybe a bit of bass in one of the acts, I think, but no drums.
Yep.
And then we have a solo acoustic.
Yep.
Stage,
exclusively acoustic stage,
which is
on level 1,
which is just guitar, no vocals.
Yep.
Just guys.
And then you got the Winner's Circle workshop room.
Yep, the workshop room. So there's something, it's a great thing for families to come to and inspire their kids to play guitar. For example, they can see,
also meet some people that will, because not only is it a matter of meeting them in that particular room, the guys are walking around.
Oh yeah,
as well. So you get to see them and talk to them, and
we got so many pictures and clips of really well known artists. I remember Phil Sobrano a couple of years ago was snapped and filmed talking to kids, and and Jeff Lang does the same. Really generous with their time and sharing their their enthusiasm and trying to inspire young people, and old people. I mean, lots of people, older guys are really passionate about their guitar playing, and of course, as they say, the formula for the ideal amount of guitars is N+1. So there's a lot of guys out there looking for their next showpiece.
And there's a lot of guitar shops there too as well.
Yeah. Well, we've got most of the major wholesalers, suppliers are exhibiting, but we've got 12 or 14 of
guitar shops.
Music shops, but big in guitar.
Yep.
A couple from interstate, like Sunburst Music comes down. Macron Music comes down. Port Mac Guitars is coming this year. And there's, GH, Bass Centre, Pat's Music. I shouldn't have started because I'm going to leave.
Now you're going to leave
out.
someone out, and you're going to get upset because you left them out. But there's a lot of deals.
Mate, it's the biggest pop-up guitar shop in the country.
Yeah.
And
the thing is, it's a one-stop shop. Like, you go there and you can see so many models and the range and everything.
And technology's playing such a big part in the guitar products these days.
Yeah.
It's allowing people to, to make all sorts of music through these technological gizmos, and there's a lot of that on display. Gibson are back this year. In a dedicated Gibson and Epiphone back in a big stand. Fender's got a big stand. New products.
So we're going to have the two big companies under the same roof.
Oh yeah. Well, we've got most of the major guitar brands will be represented. I think. And yourself when you walk in and you see the glimpse of the show for the first time.
No,
it
you just
looks so
your jaw
pretty.
drops. Yeah,
it looks just so pretty. All the beautiful instruments everywhere, and
and not only that, there'll be a lot of guys. I mean, I know because I've spoken to a lot of the people that are actually going to be there. But there's going to be a lot of product specialists there. So, say for example, I mean, I don't want to pick on a brand name and leave someone out, but say for example, you've got a Variax, a Line 6 Variax guitar. We had Tom in here not long ago from Yamaha, and we were showing us some of the Yamaha guitars and stuff, but he's going to be there doing demos and stuff on the Yamaha stand. And you can actually go up to these guys on the stands and go, I've got one, I need help. And they will actually guide you and direct you and help you out.
Well, and also as well as that, I mean, I know Yamaha and Cramper Music. I've got a big space down there this year, and everyone's a specialist, really.
Oh, we've got a phone call.
We've got a call.
There's heaps of specialists.
Yeah.
Get to put your hat.
Hello, and thanks for calling Guitar Talk. Who am I talking to?
Oh, you're talking to Rory, mate. How are you?
Hey, Rory. How
Hey,
you
Rory.
doing, mate?
I'm doing very well. Yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. Hey, guess what?
What?
You've won the double tickets to the guitar show.
Woohoo! Yes.
And you're a drummer too.
Oh, he's a guitarist.
I'm not just a drummer. Come on, I do play bass as well.
I know that you have seen the light.
Well, I mean, it was discussed at the start of the show. It was much easier just being a bass player because there weren't any around. So there's plenty of guitarists and drummers. So us smart ones that decided to go with bass kept our options open.
That's right. That's right. So do you have a question? Are you calling for the tickets or do you also have a question for Rob?
Oh, no, obviously calling from the tickets, but also we mentioned the earlier days of the guitar show down at the Paran Town Hall. That was probably the first one I actually went to from memory. Jimmy the Human was playing down there.
Oh, wow.
And
That was the first one, Rory.
that was the actual first one, was it? Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, it's fantastic. You just see over the years the amount of talent and big names that you get to each of these guitar shows. So it doesn't just attract guitarists, it attracts musos or anyone that goes out to see bands when you've got names like that. So it's great, not just for the immediate industry, but for right outside of it as well.
Yeah, well, Jimmy's away this year with the Jets, I think. But I remember Jeff Lang, I think, played in the very early days
Yep.
of the guitar show. Shannon Bourne tells a story about his dad taking him to the Melbourne Town Hall, and that's what he tells the story about. It's what made him decide to play guitar seriously, was the guitar show.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I met his dad a couple of years back when he brought him to this current one. So yeah, I'm sure that's inspired a lot of people. Let's hope so.
Yeah.
No, and it was good. Like we had nothing really before that. As you said, that was a show, or somewhere specifically to go for certain instruments. Like there was the music shows and everything like that. But I feel that the separate shows now, be it the guitar show or the drum shows or anything like that, because they're more of a targeted audience, they seem to bring a lot more numbers in than what a combined show used to do.
So true. And it brings the camaraderie around as well, you know.
Yeah,
So-
and that's it.
And not only that, I mean, it's a great place. You know what we should do during the guitar show? We should pull a light globe out, right? And seeing that we've got everyone there, we should actually put it to a test and go, hey, everybody, we've got a light globe that's out. Who's going to fix it? Who's got the best way of fixing it, you know?
I'll tell you what, I hope you're not going to film a show from there, because that'll be a longer show than when Joey's on.
Well, let's hope Will's going to help us compare the main stage. So we'll just hope
I did hear that. Who'd he bribe to get into that job?
Let's just hope he doesn't make us go over time.
That's right. A cattle prod usually does the trick.
Yeah, there'll be a hook there. Don't worry.
Rob knows me too well. So anyhow, Rory, thanks for calling.
Well done, Rory.
No worries at all. Thank you very much, guys.
You're a regular with us, so we'll organise getting those
I'll
tickets
get
out
those
to you.
tickets to you, mate.
Yeah, no worries. Just drop them off with Pino, and we've got to catch up for something different, so I'll grab them off him then.
Awesome. Thanks, Rory.
Well done.
Legends. Thanks, guys.
See you later.
See you, Rory.
Bye-bye.
Have a great night.
Catch ya. Yeah, so Rory's one of our regulars.
I got
So
that.
he supports us quite a lot. He's awesome.
Mm.
So yeah, so the guitar shows, how many days is it now? It's 11, 10 days, something like that.
It's creeping up at a rate of knots. Yeah.
Yeah. So so what time do doors open?
10 o'clock Saturday,
10 o'clock. So 10 o'clock shut doors.
2 till 6 on Saturday, and then 10 till 4 on Sunday.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
So hours to immerse yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the entertainment starts basically. Oh, hold on. The entertainment starts at 10:30.
Yeah, the activities are starting straight away.
Yeah.
Got to fit a fair bit in.
Yeah. So 10:30 and then 11 and 12 and
It's
so
just
on.
constant.
It's just constant. Yeah.
And you can go between. I've tried to make it a little bit so that you can catch as many people as possible by sort of
Yeah, I've seen how it's all staggered. Yeah.
staggered a bit so people get to see as much as they can.
Yeah.
And not miss anybody.
Yep. And with regards to tickets, aside from calling the show.
Well, we've got a great competition on this next 10 days for all the people that buy online before next Friday week.
Yep.
We've got a positive grid bias
So
mini
up to
amp.
the day before.
Mhm.
Yep.
For anybody who buys a ticket online, there's a bias mini guitar amp by Positive Grid up for grabs.
Yep. Okay.
And you get a bit of a discount if you buy early online too, and avoid the queues.
Yep.
So we'd encourage everybody to go to australianmusician.com.au and click on the Guitar Show site, and you can buy your tickets through the website.
And also you can download the program as well.
You can also, on the website, you can see a list of all the exhibitors and what they're going to feature on their stands. So you can do some pre-preparation
of what you want to go and have
what
a
you
look
want
at.
to really get what you're interested
And
in.
it's also got the map, the big map as well.
The floor plan.
The floor plan.
That's all
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And all the stand numbers, and so there's a complete guide on the website.
Yep.
Simple these days to buy a ticket online, isn't it?
Yeah.
But anyway, go in
So
the draw
quick.
for that fantastic bias mini amp. That'll be fantastic prize.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep. That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
And that's going to be, when's that handed out? When's the presentation for that?
Well, we'll be drawing that on the Saturday because the online pre-shut sales close overnight on the Friday.
Yep.
And we'll draw that and we'll present it on the Sunday
Okay.
at the show. But also
So the person who wins it will basically be contacted as well.
contacted us to come down and pick it up.
And pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. As
So-
well. Now the apparently the guy who's designed that is going to be at the show as well, correct?
That's correct.
That's awesome.
And we'll present it.
Wow.
Mm.
That's
So
cool.
yeah. But we've got a lot of other, Ernie Balls
Yep.
has been a great sponsor this year.
There's going to be lots of giveaways.
Yep, his boss always been a great supporter too.
Yeah.
So, and of course all the exhibitors, they're all the sponsors of this show.
Yeah.
I mean, our exhibitors put this show on.
Yeah.
For the Melbourne guitar community and hopefully the Australian guitar community. Let's see how many people
Come in
make
from
the
interstate.
trip, to come to it, because it's probably the best $25 worth of value you'd ever get as far as who you're going to see that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, just in the acts, if you were to add up
those 2 days, I
buying,
should say.
if you were to add up buying tickets to go and see these artists, and how much is the ticket to get in?
Well, if you buy online, it's 20. If you turn up with some cash on the Saturday or Sunday,
700.
it's 25.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, we could combine what does it cost you to see him, and her.
Yeah,
her,
go and
her,
combine,
her.
go and see them. Even if you were doing a door deal and say the door deal was $15, or say $15 is about the going price, $10-15. So even if you were to go and see these guys individually, there's so many of them, you're already saving money.
Oh, it's the best value in town.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt about it,
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting. Guitar is a big month for guitar in August because you got the Adelaide International Festival, and you got the new Sydney International Festival, and there's another festival in Melbourne called the Melbourne International Guitar Festival, which is going to be in, I think, September, October, which is more focusing on the acoustic guitar and classical guitar. That's a fledgling event which started, I think, last year.
Yep.
So it's great. August and the springtime is a huge promotion for guitar around the country.
Yep.
So we're really pleased about that. And yeah, looking forward to the weekend.
Yeah.
Now it's come, we're about to give birth again.
Wow.
You know?
So there you have it. Hey, can I have another couple of tickets to give away next week?
Yeah,
Is that possible?
Oh,
yeah. Okay. So next week's show.
What can I say?
Next
You
week's
put me on the spotlight. What am I going to say?
You
No.
know I'm going to catch you out. For next week's show, I have Robin Payne coming on. Now, Robin, people know her as being the keyboard player on Hey Hate piano player on Hey Hate Saturday. No, she played keys, I think.
She's the bass player in Eurogliders.
And now she's a bass player in Eurogliders and
other bands.
And other bands as well. You were talking about the Stevie Wonder thing.
Oh,
That was amazing.
Robin's a great player. It was terrific to see that show. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. So we're going to have Robin on Wednesday night and Pino Monday night.
Yes.
What have you got planned for Monday night, Pete?
Well, I can't say just yet because I haven't confirmed it, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we've got Yamaha coming in with Jamie Goff.
Jamie.
Yes,
Jamie.
and,
Good one.
we're going to be showcasing and doing a product review on the EAD 10, which is a great microphone for drummers.
I think Jamie's coming back from holidays or something.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's why you haven't been able to communicate.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but and then Tuesday night we have On the Mic.
Yep.
Once again, do you know who's doing that?
Rick Muscat and Casey hosting, so it should be great.
And then we have Andrew Hewitt on again Wednesday night before Guitar Talk.
That's correct. The Can Do Radio show.
With Can Do Radio.
So a lot going on the Muso channel.
Absolutely. So, yeah. Rob, is there anything else you want to say to anybody?
No, just get down to the Caulfield Racecourse on August 4 and 5 and join our wonderful guitar community and
there's
have
plenty
a
of parking.
Great weekend. Free parking all over the shop.
Yep.
And, you know, you'll have a great weekend if you've got any affection for the guitar or want to learn about it. Bring your kids down.
Yep.
Take them to a workshop. Get them to meet a few of the players. Inspire them to make music.
Now, there's public transport to get to the Caulfield. There's a tram right in front of it, isn't
Trams, trains,
there?
buses.
Yeah, everything's right there.
near the Caulfield station.
Yeah. Okay.
It's pretty easy to get to. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great venue, a great crew down there. They're good at what they do. So we'll provide you with a great environment for a good weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I'll be looking forward to it. I've never been to the guitar show, so
I definitely time, Pino.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
actually,
a drummer in a guitar
it's
show.
going to be pretty weird having a drummer in the guitar show.
We do let a few drummers in, you know.
Yeah, a lot of my great mates play there. Johnny Salerno and all those, they all play.
Yeah, he's playing with Nat Allison, I think.
There you go.
This year.
Yep.
Johnny.
Yeah, she's amazing on guitar, man.
Oh, yeah.
She's absolutely amazing.
She's a beauty. Yeah. Fiona Boyce is on too.
Yeah.
She's a great player.
Yeah.
We got a 4-piece girl band from called The Racket, who are really good band. So that would be really interesting to see them live.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great mixture.
Yeah. Is Nat Allison, is she using the band that toured with Susie Quattro? Is she using the same guys? Because Johnny did the tour with it.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure if anybody else.
Yeah.
I haven't asked.
Okay. Be interesting. So anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on, Will.
No, it's been awesome.
It's been great to be able to promote music.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for.
For the industry. So everybody,
good on you.
Thanks for joining us. And from Rob Walker, myself, and Pino, see you later.
Good night,
Have a
all.
good week. And until next time, see you later. You're listening to Guitar Talk with Will Musig.